I'm using a large rectangle from the pack and it's the same colour on both sides. The first fold is the short side along the long side, making a point in the corner. It may be easier to press the point in first and then position the rest of the edge along the edge of the long side. Press it down. I'm going to use the creasing stick because I need really good sharp creases. Open up the paper and the corner that's got the crease in here is going to fold across to meet the crease on the other side. So this point will fold over to meet the crease where it reaches the edge of the paper. When you open it up, you will have a crisscross. Turn your paper over and we're going to work on the edge where we have the two creases in the corners. This edge will fold backwards so that the two corners will sit on these two creases. We're putting creases on top of creases. Open up the paper and turn it over. Where all the lines cross in the middle, that is where you push down and the sides will lift up. These two sides will push together and the top will squash down and it will all collapse into a triangle. So that's how it collapses in. We've now got two new points, one here and one here. And these are going to fold to this point, which is going to be the front of the plane. I turn the paper round because it's always easier to fold away from you because the backs of your fingers can hold the paper down to stop it sliding about. So this point will go to the front and this point. These points are going to be tucked away out of sight and they're going to go in between these two layers. If we use the crease we have just made, we can fold this piece backwards and it will tuck inside. So that point is now in between these two layers. We do the same on the other side. Open it down, bend it back on itself and tuck it underneath. We're going to use a strip from the back edge here to make the tail. So this edge will fold straight along the bottom of the triangle and press this down really well. open it out, turn your paper over and push the crease in backwards. So we're using the same crease, we've just forced it backwards on itself. And the reason we do that is to weaken the paper on the crease line. We're going to tear this off, and when you tear paper, always pull it apart like this, because the tear will always follow the line of least resistance, which in this case is the crease that we have made, because we have damaged the fibres of the paper along that crease. So if you pull apart, the tear will want to go along the crease. Like this. I'm going to put the wing section just to one side for a moment while we make the tail. We need to fold this in half straight across the longest side. Open it up, and at one short end we fold both points in to make a point on the top. You don't need to be too accurate, it's just to help us fit the tail inside the plane. That's fine. Put that over here for now and get the wings. Where we've got this square section, that is the bottom of the plane, and the plain side is the top. So with this plain side facing up, fold everything in half straight through the middle and just press along the edge here. Open it part way out and turn it over. The crease we have here is going to help us when we push the tail in. So the tail section needs to be in the same way as the crease in the middle of the wings. Then that will help as we push the tail section straight into the middle, all the way in. There we go. Turn your paper over and fold the tip of the plane inwards so that we divide this square in half. Like this. There's a lot of paper here, so I'm going to press all the front of the wings down nice and flat. The next fold is through the middle. There's a lot of paper here, so you may need to just help it bend along the crease line just to get it started. Once you've got that bend in, fold the plane in half and press very firmly at the bottom and also at the leading edge. The paper's bulging up, we want it nice and flat. So again, I'm going to use the stick and press the front edge very tightly and along the bottom edge. I'm not doing the wings, I'm not pressing the wings down because the paper's slightly curved now. If I press it down, I'll put wrinkles in the wings. The last step is to put a kink on the leading edge of the wings. We don't crease the wings all the way down, we just kink the front. If you imagine this line here along the tail. If you imagine that carrying all the way through to the front, that is where you would pinch the front of the plane between your thumb and your finger. And all we need to do is bend the front of the wings down over the top of your thumb, over the top of your finger, and put a kink in the front of the plane so that you get that sort of angle. You don't want the wings down here, you want them up at an angle like this. Just make sure your tail section is nice and straight and in line with the front of the wings, and that is the perfect angle for your plane to fly really well. To throw the plane, hold it at the front and throw it in an upwards position, nice and sharply.